My good people, remember this is Jipe Wajibu Environmental TV, and today we are at Eburu Forest, the main KFS station in Naivasha. And I have my good friend from the Eastern Africa, the Pearl of Africa, and that is Uganda. Maybe they can introduce themselves because they are the visitors. They tell the viewers who they are. Maybe first, ladies first.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello everyone, my name is Joanita Nabure and I'm from Uganda. I'm a teacher by profession and I teach geography as well as I'm a wildlife patron. So we had an international workshop right at
Elsamia Conservation
Center in Kenya, that's Naivasha. So he's my head and he's going to introduce himself.
Yeah, Jambo, Kenya. My name is Hamza Sesang and I'm a conservation biologist working with the wildlife clubs of Uganda as the programs officer. I'm really excited and we are here with our colleague from this Environment TV to interview us about a few things to do with forest conservations, maybe the benefits and how we can go about the conservation of our forest ecosystems.
Thank you for those brief introduction. As we start, can you tell us, maybe I've heard you are in the wildlife clubs of Uganda?
Yes, wildlife clubs of Uganda.
What motivated you maybe to found these wildlife clubs of Uganda and your objective and mission of the wildlife clubs of Uganda?
Yes, as wildlife clubs of Uganda, our major objective is to do conservation education and public awareness. And conservation education, we are majorly basing in institutions of lower primary, secondary and tertiary institutions to impart the conservation knowledge in the young people, the young Ugandans, the young East Africans. That's why we are here in Kenya. We believe that if we build the capacity of the young people in terms of conservation knowledge, the wildlife resources, the environmental resources will be sustainably managed and used. Yes, thank you. That is, I think, that is one of our specific objectives as to why we subscribe to the wildlife clubs of Uganda, is to impart knowledge in terms of conservation and public awareness.
Yeah, and for the teachers. And in Kenya, we have different clubs, maybe doing the same objective, let's say conservation. Here in Kenya, we have environmental clubs in schools and also the wildlife clubs in school, and also the Scout, the KK club, the 4K club. Which clubs maybe do you have in your school? And maybe tell the viewers which school. Maybe there's a viewer who is in Uganda. He wants to bring his kids to maybe a school.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, in Uganda we have various clubs. We have one of the clubs we have Red Cross. With Red Cross we do donation and we help people who are needy. You go and we do outreaches and help those ones who are in needy. Maybe by giving them clothes. We go and sensitize them. Then we also train first aid, that is Red Cross. And then we go to Interact Club, that is socializing with people. You'll find even music, dance and drama into that is Interact. We have Journalism Club where students have to give in information in terms of what is happening. They bring public awareness through news. Okay, then we also have Pathfinders. Pathfinders is like you love your country, being patriotic. You love your country and you can withstand anything. We instill that kind of knowledge in students so that they feel confident in their country. And there are so many other clubs that I can't mention, but there are so many.
But the major club is the Wildlife Club, and that's why we are here.
Yes.
Yeah. The Wildlife Club actually embodies or covers all these other clubs. The interaction, the patriotism, because when they teach you, when they tell you to conserve the wildlife resources, the environmental resources, automatically you are conserving your country. You are loving your country.
You're loving your country and you're protecting someone as well. Remember, with wildlife, we are conserving for the future generation. Now you'll find that Wildlife Club is linking to almost every club. because without wildlife, then the other ones are not necessary. You first think about you and your future generation, and then you're like, I think I need to keep this. We all know these things came on earth before us. God created man last. We found them, so we shouldn't destroy them. It is our role to conserve the environment and even wildlife.
And in Uganda, is there a common species, maybe a bird, an animal that is, when you go there, you're going to find it almost everywhere in the country?
Yeah, in Uganda we have the big five. And the big five, we have the elephants, we have the lion, we have the buffalo, we have the giraffes, and then we also have I'm forgetting, but we have the big five. You know those big five?
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
And these animals are very unique. When you go to some countries, of course, in Africa, we've had stories that lions don't climb trees. But what makes them unique from these other species in other countries? The lions that we'll find in our national parks, they do climb trees. So if you have that saying that they don't climb, remember the kind of vegetation is savanna-like, so they have branches. If you go in the national park unknowingly and you climb a tree, you'll come down with a lion. Then with the elephants, they are also very unique. In East Africa, especially Uganda, we have what we call savanna elephants. They have very wide ears. Very wide ears. It's because of the high temperatures in the place. So this is how they are created. They use their ears to flap themselves to create
of cooling.
To cool. But when you go to Asia, you're going to find elephants with very small ears. If you want to find out that, you can even Google, or you can do some research and then you'll see the difference.
And maybe can you tell us maybe a brief description of the Ugandan crane? Because I've seen, hey, watu wangu, I hope you see this bird. That's why the Uganda is known as the Pearl of Africa, and that's why they have come all the way from Uganda to come and represent the wildlife clubs of Uganda and to show us why this bird is here.
One, the grey-craned crested crane, or the grey-craned crane, is a national bird. It is the national emblem, and currently in Uganda it is actually threatened because one, its ecosystem where it thrives are the wetlands, and in Uganda there is a lot of destruction when it comes to wetlands. In Kenya, as we were coming, we observed you have very few wetlands, but that one is explained by the way the natural processes, the Great Rift Valley. But in Uganda we had actually a lot of wetlands, but they have been degraded, putting there industries, agricultural farms, and many other things, which are the natural habitats. The wetlands are the natural habitats for the grey-craned crane. It is where they call it lay their eggs, reproduction. So when the wetlands are destroyed, they threaten the survival of this national emblem.
Now, if I may ask about that topic that you are talking about, now I have a question. You as the Wildlife Club of Uganda,
Yes.
are you partnering with maybe NGOs, the government agencies, to ensure that the Ugandan crane are put, maybe there is research? You see, like in Kenya, there is this, I think the white rhinos, they are becoming extinct. Now there's this research, maybe they come up with as something, I don't know, semen like that, they multiply so that they cannot.
Yes, on that case of the conservation of the grey-crowned crane, we are working with the International Crane Foundation and the Wildlife, the Endangered Wildlife Species, the Wildlife Trust. These guys are majorly working on the conservation of the great bird, the grey-crowned crane. We are working with them. There is a program of recent. Last year we did the national census for for this crane, yes, and that project was run by the wildlife clubs of Uganda. We were working with the universities in the whole country, and members of the wildlife clubs actually did this exercise, and we are yet to launch the report. This year we shall be launching the report, the outcomes of the census. And then the other thing, we also have an MOU with ICF, the International Crane Foundation and the Endangered Wildlife Trust, and we shall be implementing what we call the Cranes in the Classroom project. So we shall be building capacity for our patrons. We shall go to their schools, we build capacities, we teach them about the conservation, the status of the great crane in our country. That's why we first did the census. So we shall come up with the real data this year. Late this year we shall be publishing the data of the census that we carried out last year about the great crane. Maybe to expound more on how we shall be working. We have Wildlife Clubs of Uganda has coordinators, and we have different patrons in the different parts of the country. Okay?
Yes.
We have the central Uganda, western Uganda, northern Uganda, and the eastern Uganda. So we shall be doing this. We go into a school, and then we shall be building the capacity of the patrons about the cranes, yes, their habitats, their breeding issues, how they breed, what we need. And of recent we even have initiatives of conserving through the farms, because especially those people who have established farms in the wetlands. Yeah. But still we are having cases where these crane going to the farms, and these people are complaining, your birds are destroying our rice, especially rice growing. So what we do, we give alternative sources, alternative livelihood, income generating programs. Like we are giving out water harvesting in those tanks using plastic tanks with a capacity of about 1,000 liters. We give tree seedlings, especially coffee beans. We are encouraging people to grow coffee, and then they run away, they move away from the wetland ecosystems, so as to preserve the habitat for this bird.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so we shall build both capacities of the patrons. Then after the patrons, we'll build the capacity of the young people, the young Ugandans, and even the adults.
Yes. Nice one. No, that one was maybe the brief activities that you as the organization, yes, of the mother organization of your country, you are doing to support maybe is it the children or the arising conservationists in the schools?
Yes.
No, for the teacher. Can you tell maybe what are some of the activities you in your school you carry out in the wildlife clubs?
Okay. One thing that I want to say out is that the students that we teach, they are aware, they know what to do. But sometimes you need to give them a push, because sometimes someone is like, I think this is not right. But when they see it happening, they take it for granted because there's no one who's emphasizing. But as we keep on sensitizing, they get to know this is our role. This is how they do it. When they have exhibitions, for example, MDD, we've had an exhibition where we chose Miss Wildlife in Uganda. Miss Wildlife, then we have other sessions where you see the same learners going to compete for Miss Tourism. So with that, you always get to know that they are ambitious. They also feel like they need to conserve the environment. It's like it's in them. You don't have to. It's in them, but they only need a push. They need you to emphasize it so that they don't forget about it. But they already know, because you already see them executing it during those exhibitions. Now, some of the activities that we do in school in line with conservation, one, we have tree planting. We plant so many trees. We plant, but the challenge with planting, when you plant a tree and you leave it for nature to take over, sometimes it can be affected. Remember, nature is comprised of so many things.
True.
So it's instead better to grow. Growing means that you take care of that tree. Go and check if it's a dry season, water it so that it can grow. But when you plant, it's like you've left it for nature to take over. So we are now growing. We grow trees. Okay.
Wow.
Then apart from growing trees, we've gone ahead. To conserve the wildlife, especially the animal species, there are things that we do. We all know that these snakes, some of them are unique species. but sometimes they tend to be dangerous when they are in community. But we don't have to kill them. You have to protect them because this is their habitat. If it's in grass, it's in a swamp, that's its habitat. What do you have to do? You fence. We use various plants. For example, you can use snake repellents. So that when they come, they know I'm not supposed to cross over. This is not my place. I'm supposed to stay here. And then they will go back instead of killing them. Okay? Then where we have monkeys, monitor lizards, for example, where I teach, we are neighboring a swamp, that is Maryland High School, in Tebe, Katabi, even the main campus, Chibungu. We neighbor a swamp in Katabi, and then in Chibungu it's a lake. So you'll find that monitor lizards will always come. What do you have to do? You call, because you're near the zoo, you have to call. You call and you let the other management from the zoo come and take the animal. You don't have to kill. So when they don't kill, because they know that just not it's in them, they know that it's their role to protect. Yes.
Wow. My good people, I hope you're hearing some good things of what the Ugandan people are doing. And remember our environment, our responsibility. And sir, maybe can you tell us, are there some programs that you're partnering with the Wildlife Club of Kenya?
Yeah. First, we would like to thank the management of the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya for annually collaborating with the Wildlife Clubs of Uganda to convene in one place, that is El Samea Conservation Education Center, to build capacity. Like for example, we emphasize as our major objective as Wildlife Clubs of Uganda, Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, is to create conservation education and public awareness. Awareness means teaching, but then we need people who will spread the message. That's why we always, every year, Wildlife Clubs of Uganda and Wildlife Clubs of Kenya convene at Esamea to build the capacity of our patrons in the different schools. Yes, that is one of the things we do. We work on projects together, grant writing. Of recent, our Executive Director, Dr. Tadeo Rusoke, and the Executive Director of the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, Dr. Margaret Athieno, won a grant. Yes, it is a sustainability grant, and what I can report to you is that it has started operating in Kenya. We are just waiting for them to come to us, to Uganda, from AWF, this African Wildlife Foundation. It is a very big grant, and it is also focusing on conservation education and public awareness. And I'm sure the people of the county of Taita Taveta in the Savo have already started benefiting from this grant. So Wildlife Clubs of Uganda and Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, we are working together in partnership, because that is SDG number 17, partnerships for the goals. If you want to achieve conservation, climate action, the SDG number 13, you have to partner with other organizations like we do in Uganda. Wildlife Clubs of Uganda works with Uganda Wildlife Authority, Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center. We work with National Environment Management Authority. We work with KWF, Kenya Wildlife Service, Kenya Forest Service, to build the capacity and to ensure that the wildlife and the environmental resources are fully utilized sustainably.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Thank you for that brief session. And maybe you as a teacher, what advice can you give other teachers who are maybe in Kenya, Uganda, who maybe they don't have the knowledge about conservation?
Okay, for the teachers in Uganda and Kenya, I would encourage you to conserve, also sensitize the learners. Every time you go to class, it's also part of the curriculum. I think it's also in Kenya. There is environmental conservation in every subject. It's our role to protect, because when you protect, we shall be able to live for the future generation, even ourselves. Because of recent, you're seeing the effect of climate change. It's because of what we are doing that the climate is changing, and sometimes this affects. It comes back to us. You find someone having asthma and all these other issues. But what is a major issue? You're cutting down a tree and you're creating an industry which is polluting. Then how do you expect to have that oxygen that you want to breathe? It means the air is already polluted. So it is your role as a teacher to encourage, to sensitize, okay, or to create public awareness about conservation. When you do that, you will live and your grandkids will also live, and they will live for the other generation. So that's what I have to say to all teachers in Uganda and Kenya.
Wow, thank you. Are you in Uganda? Are you in Kenya? Hope you have heard about the Wildlife Club of Kenya and the Wildlife Club of Uganda. I'll urge you to join. I was your host, Joseph. I was with our good friends from Uganda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we have a Kiswahili anthem right now. Can you say anguka nayo?
Anguka nayo.
Anguka naye.